Running a Fever, episode 369, The End of the Yo-Yo String. Previously on Running a Fever. I just yesterday rejoined the gym that I had quit at the end of last year. Running a Fever, episode 262, Shattering the Yo-Yo, Injury Report. It's kind of motivated by this contest we have at work. First of all, what's going on with COVID is basically we're just about back to normal. And so I've got a problem, and that kind of segs into what we're going to talk about this year in a bunch of episodes. I don't want to take this metaphor too far because I'm definitely capable of doing that, but there's this idea of the yo-yo diet, and what that means is, you're like a yo-yo. This is a toy that goes up and down a string. You can be up in weight and then down in weight, and you go up and down and up and down. And there are harmful effects of that, but mainly it's just frustrating to lose a lot of weight and then gain it back, as if, all of that, effort has gone to waste. Well, I want to stop that because obviously I lost a lot of weight, and I actually kept it off for quite a long time, maybe a year. Last year was I gained a lot of weight last year. Now, I want to, I was trying to think of a good way to do this, like when the yo-yo's down, cut the string. That's what I'm saying. And then I was thinking, why not just shatter the yo-yo altogether so it doesn't even exist? With that in mind, I'm going back to 2018 and I'm looking at the episodes. I was trying to think of, what's a good guideline for how to lose weight and how to do it the right way. And I was thinking, wow, there's this great podcast called Running a Fever. And, they went through that. And in 2018, and so that's what I'm doing. This is my journey of weight loss and fat loss through this year. In the first episode that I recorded in 2018, several things were going on. One was I wasn't walking, just like now. In the first episode that I recorded in 2018, several things were going on. One was I wasn't walking, just like now. I decided not to run anymore. I'm just not going to run. It's too damaging to me and not really helping me that much. But I do know that my problems now stem from my weight and not necessarily fat. It could be any kind of weight on me, muscle, bone, whatever. Welcome to Running a Fever. My name is Michael Davis, and this is a podcast about fitness, diet, and medicine. My goal is to live a long, healthy, happy, active life right up to the very end. And I want to do it by loving my life enough to make it last as long as possible. If that resonates with you, you're in the right place. We'll get there together. So, it's the 84th and final episode in our series, Shattering the Yo-Yo. Last episode, we took a look back at the last episode of 2018, number 111, which was actually published on January 2nd of 2019. But I suppose it was so close I decided to put it in review. After hearing the opening of this episode, you might be confused. It's a meta thing, the previously on of a previously on. It's actually a look back at the first Shattering of the Yo-Yo episode from way back in 2021. Why? I think it's appropriate for a couple of reasons. It helps bookend the series so you can see where we ended up compared with where we started. Secondly, if you think about it, the series started in 2021, 3 years after the banner year of 2018, and now we're 3 years down the road from the first episode of Shattering the Yo-Yo. Never thought it would go this long. It's easy to forget that 2018 started with me in a Biggest Loser style weight loss contest that was very unhealthy. Puts things into perspective. Everything didn't go well that year. That year I went through a fitful journey from bad dieting to good diet. I wasn't walking due to a knee injury in 18. I wasn't walking due to an ankle injury in 21. And now in 24, I'm not walking due to a back injury. Injuries obviously are a continuous problem in this deal. In 2021, we thought we were back to normal after COVID. All the numbers pointed to that. On the contrary, we were to go another year before we finally got to some semblance of normal. Though things were changed forever and the impact will continue for a long time to come. The challenge to my health journey also continued in marked contrast to what happened back in 18. I learned something from the previously on section you heard at the beginning, like I have throughout this series. The very last point that my weight is the problem, not necessarily my body composition. Of course, I've heard this from my cardiologist, and I believe it now, especially with the back problems I'm experiencing now. If I'd continued on a bodybuilding track, I might still have that problem. So my goal will be to have a good BMI. I mean, if the docs like it, there must be something to it, right? Which means losing weight and hopefully maintaining and not increasing muscle mass. There are ways to improve definition and strength without worrying about mass, and I'm down with that at this point. So in the concluding episode, I'm still learning from past experience. So what have we learned overall? Well, it doesn't come down to one thing, or even a few things. My philosophy of becoming an expert at my own health still continues. It's about many different little things. I can learn as much from episode 29, the first episode of 2018, as I can from episode 262, the first Shattering the Yo-yo episode, and as I can from today's episode 369. So one message is the old episodes are useful. If you haven't listened to all 370 episodes, why not go back to episode 0 and start from the beginning? I bet you won't regret it. If you've been listening to this series, I sincerely hope that you found it helpful, informative, useful, and inspiring. I would be happy with even one of those. But my goal, in addition to the ones I've mentioned every episode, is to help you as I help myself. If one person has a positive experience because they listen to this podcast, then it's all worth it. So as always, if you have the fever, keep it burning. And if you don't, I hope you caught the fever today. There's much more to come, so stay tuned. And I will talk to you next time on Running a Fever.